Hi, welcome to my self awareness, family, and community channel. My name is Berdine Nickens, and I'm glad that you took the time to view this. I want to talk to you about what love looks like. That depends on your points of reference. Are you looking at what you experience daily, what you've experienced through your childhood, what you're experiencing now? Or is your reference of what love looked like relating to what you feel inside, what you hope and would like to experience, or what you think it is from a point of ideology of television, or what others have said, what you have heard through by and by? Well, I want to point you to, and I know we all kind of get tired of religions, but I want to point you to First Corinthians in the Bible, chapter 13, and what it says about love. Okay? It says, and I will start from verse 1 through, I'll stop at 4 and kind of briefly reference to the rest of it. No, I'll stop at 7. It says, though I speak with the tongues of men and of angels and have not charity, I am become a sounding brass and a tinkling cymbal. And though I have the gift of prophecy and understand all mysteries and all knowledge, and though I have all faith so that I could remove mountains and have not charity, I am nothing. And though I bestow all my goods to feed the poor, and though I give my body to be burned and have not charity, it profits me nothing. Charity suffereth long and is kind. Charity envieth not. Charity vaunteth not itself, is not puffed up, does not behave itself unseemly, seeketh not her own, and is not easily provoked, thinketh no evil, rejoices not in iniquity, and rejoices in truth, beareth all things, believeth all things, hopeth all things, and doeth all things. And it says, charity never fails. And, whatever else that we're dealing with in life, it'll let us down. But love does not. What in the world does all that mean? Because we've had so many different interpretations of this Bible. But this is a reference that most people, no matter what walk of life they're in, they've used something of it to guide them in life. Now, also, when we're talking about love, what love looks like, we were talking about, there's romantic love, there's sibling love, and there's just friends and family is what I'm saying, when I say sibling love, that type of love. So I imagine most of us is concerned with romantic love more. Okay. And so when we're referring to romantic love, um, then you're kind of talking about, is it flowers, is it someone who let us have our way all the time, and just never ever let us down, is that the love that we're expecting when we're talking about romantic love? um is it going places together, doing things together? What is romantic love to you? What do you see in romantic love? What are you looking for when you're talking about romantic love? Are you looking for someone who to be as if they were a mother to you, or a sister to you, or case, brother to you, or any case, but are you looking for a sibling um, response to how you receive love from this person, among other things. I know you wouldn't just be looking for a sibling relationship with romantic love, So I just think this is something that we a lot of time we don't think about, as much as we would like to. Is it just sexual uh, gratification, but when you in the scheme of things in real life time, there's a lot of things that goes on when we're talking about love. You have entertainment time, you have family time, and oh goodness, family time is probably the most challenging time with any love. You know what I'm saying? Because there's so many things that has to go on in the realm of a day when it concerns family. What things has to be done for children, and as you're some of the older ones of us, we've kind of gone through, and so we kind of stumble through stuff, and we we learn a few things along the way. We learn that what the Bible says is true, because you really have to have this long suffering. Because sometimes you just there's a hurt in that your children or some family member, or even dealing with ourselves, because I told you this is self-awareness as well as family and community. And there are times when we have this long pain, like we really, really, really desire for things to be much, much better in a relationship with the family, with ourselves, because mainly most of us, we are having to learn things about ourselves that we really never thought about. And when you get us older age, as I say, you start looking at stuff and you start re-examining things, and you can um, make some decisions about, okay, this part of my life, maybe I need to re-examine it. Maybe I need to do something different with myself. And this is not easy for you. This is not always easy. So that's the reason why I decided to do channels on self awareness, family, and community, because I found out that it starts off with ourselves. If we do not have ourself intact, then it's going to be really tough to deal with someone else, period, whether it's the family member, whether it's love, relationship added to yourself. So, there's so many things I want to say to you today about relationships concerning love and the family. But I kind of wanted to just throw this out to you today, and that is that the suffering is a long part of it, because it's the patience that we have in trying to understand. And then it's also the fairness that we have to have. Are we really, really fair when we evaluate our situations? When we are when we take a look at the relationships that we have. Mostly I have discern or come to the conclusion that we really do depend on one another completely. We actually they really, really depend on each other. Sometimes we depend on each other so much that we do not consider our part in a relationship. And I've also found that when two people come together in romantic relationship, because I know there's a lot of levels to that part too, but I found out that sometimes when they together, one will demand more than the other one. One will have a little bit more patience than the other one. Sometimes I found that in those relationships, that many people are bringing in what they've learned coming up from their parents. And sometimes some of these in those relationships, there were a lot of role models and examples of what a loving family should be. So I'm not going to say I have all the answers for you, because I really do not. I'm still trying to figure this thing out myself. You know what I'm saying? And I just thought maybe you would like to know what somebody else thought about it. So, um, you know, you can just have some reference point, or well, see that someone else too struggles with relationships. And I think we all have our ups and our downs in these relationships, regardless as to what we expect or what are we receiving. But we do know what love relationship is not. We know that it is not puffed up, because we just that I just read that to you, showed that to you, that it's not someone who is very very proud and selfish. We know that it's not that. And so whenever we run across that, I think we kind of need to think about it. If we run across a relationship that we think that we're in love, or someone's in love with us, and it's one-sided, or that person is, angry person. Not saying that you don't try to help them work through that, but it may not be the kind of love that we would want for ourselves to hold, to keep, and to cherish. So, and then, it says that this part about bearing all things and believing all things and hoping in all things and enduring all things, that part means, I imagine, that we have to figure out all these things that comes into it, and then, not get out of shape when everything doesn't seem to be coming together like we think it should be, and sort it out and ask the Creator, the ancestors, the Jesus, as most of you will refer to, our Creator, to help us to level things, you know. So I'm not going to prolong this, because I can see that this can run into a long, long conversation. I only wanted to just take a few minutes to put a few thoughts out here about love, and what we want in love, and what we look for in love, and what it looks like. You know what I'm saying? Just give you a picture of what it looks like. And we use the Bible for reference, because it comes from the Comedic records, actually, and many, many, many recordings of long, long ago, when people were first trying to learn and figure out how to interact with one another. When the Creator first start teaching our ancestors, the elders, the ancient, those of the ancient, our the first ones that He created. So I'm going to just leave this, leave the thought with you. Think about, when you are considering love, what do you see in love? What do you expect in love? What do you think that love should look like for you? We know it should not be anger, because we've already said that. Like I said, this is probably the best reference that anyone could use, and that comes from First Corinthians, the 13th chapter, and that love should be long suffering and gentle and kind. And if we are dealing with love that does not have those characteristics, then we may be dealing with other things. We may be dealing with something else that, and I have found that dealing with me is becoming increasingly a challenge, or because, to be honest with yourself, then to deal with what you find that that is out of order, that's not, doesn't match up with what the Bible says. Now, don't get me wrong. I know this stuff has been put in here that probably is just all got messed up already. You know what I'm saying? But when you deal with the Creator, He always shows you what makes sense and what does not. What is in here that is really really feasible. Okay. So I know that, that people have added. I know people have taken out. I know that people have misunderstood. I know that people misinterpret and all of this. Please know that. But for the record's sake, for reference, because we forget stuff all the time. And if we didn't have something, wrote down, put down, we would really, really lose our way and just start creating and making and and doing like that. Because when we write it down, we can always go back to it. If we forgot exactly how it was written. So this is a good reference here. Good reference point for us. So with that said, I'm going to say I bid you a very, very pleasant evening and a wonderful day today. Today is Sunday, and I know that a lot of people go to worship, and I want to say that maybe you all have some safe travels back and forth from your visiting places, your worshiping places to home, and that you will consider the thought of love today and what love really looks like. I can't really tell you 100%. I can only tell you what I am learning about love. It starts with ourselves and, being honest about with ourselves about what we are looking at when we are um, saying that love is here or love is there, when we expect love from others. And I do know that we are really, really dependent on one another, but we really have to do some self examinations on ourselves in order to really, really find what love really, really should be like. Because, I mean, after all, it starts right with us. If we have love and we have pure love, then, we're not puffed up, we're not angry, we're not proud, we're not arrogant, we're not harsh and mean. And this is not, this is really almost a meat topic. And I have not even done it justice, even a little. I've just only thrown out a few thoughts there. I've only thrown out a few ideas about it because I mean, I'm not the authoritarian on love, but I, from time to time, I think I've been pretty loving, and everything, because I do love my family and I love my community. And I love you, all of you, and I thank you for your time. And so if you want to say something or share something with me, it will be welcome. I read everything, and as long as it's just a little bit, it's only been a little bit so far, so I'm good. The 1 or 2 I can read, okay. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. As the students would be 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. Kids like to count. So but I would look. I would most certainly look at it and read it. Thank you again, as I say it. And you have a blessed day. And love starts with us. And then we can see a better picture of it. Remember, we know what is not, and we know what it kind of looked like. So that's what we want to present to the people, to everyone. So, bye bye.